And a good morning at you. How you doing? Welcome to the show. It's the 22nd of January. I'm Lynn Cullen. Happy to be with you on this slightly new iteration of my endless series of shows yapping about things I don't necessarily know that much about. Happy to have you with me. I admit I got my television on, it's over there. And because I suspect many of you are probably watching Jack Smith's public testimony before the House, Judiciary? Yeah, I believe it's a Judiciary Committee. I suspect it's going to be incredible. I will tune it in as soon as I've finished up this program. I was thinking, because I was reading the paper, as I do. Paper, remember that? I do, I read the paper. I was reading the paper, and this story jumped out at me. That the South Korean former president, or premier, I think he was called, not sure, has been jailed and sentenced to 23 years in prison. And the charge, among many, is playing a key role in an insurrection. And you may recall, I don't know, that he did try to declare martial law, blah, 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 blah. He tried to use the powers of the presidency to keep himself in office, or to not follow the law. And that was 2024. It was I think it was no more than a year ago, essentially. And he's now in jail. This president of a country, of a democracy, South Korea. And their system somehow managed rather quickly to exact justice for the people. Their president tried an insurrection, and he's now in jail. And it's not the only one. To our south, in what Trump now calls our hemisphere, in Brazil, you have Bolsonaro, who looked up to Trump. Oh my God, he patterned himself after Trump, so much so that he pulled off the same insurrection when he didn't win, said he did win, sent his people to the legislature to try to create a riot. He wasn't as successful as Trump at it. And in fact, Bolsonaro, the Brazilian president, who did all that, just a year or two ago, is now in jail because their justice system worked. What the F is with ours? What have we done to it that it is so sclerotic that it can't operate with the rapidity which is sometimes obviously necessary for justice to be served? I'm looking up and I see Jack Smith, who's got the goods on Donald Trump's treasonous attempt at insurrection on January 6th. How many years ago? And it's never made it into a court. In fact, our system of justice has essentially given the president, who is a traitor and a felon, has given him carte blanche, has said he's immune, that he is in fact above the law. Dear God in heaven, that's our system of justice. So no more crowing about America and its democracy. We might have been number one. A tip of the hat to Athens. But we don't have a functioning democracy anymore, in case you haven't noticed. We do not have a functioning democracy. The system is broken. It doesn't work. The South Korean president is in jail. The Brazilian president is in jail. The American president is blowing up the world because our system and we were incapable of bringing him to justice. It's simply remarkable. One could weep. The pedophile supporting chair of the committee, Jim Jordan, is still speaking. God knows what he's saying. I wouldn't care. You know the word rectitude? I can't really necessarily define it. But when I look at Jack Smith, I know that he personifies it. Rectitude. There's something about the fact that it's almost erectitude, right? That is a rectitudinous guy. Oh dear. So if you're looking for distraction today, there are two other stories or two other things in the news, and that'd be the Oscar nominations and the impending snowstorm for the weekend. And they're both like, those are both ones that can get you talking and get you excited and get you to join the mobs at the grocery store. I go immediately to the liquor store, but yeah, grocery store. I don't do milk and toilet paper. I don't know. I really don't understand what that's about. I guess if you have kids, but milk? I literally do not have milk ever in my refrigerator. The Oscars? Oh, I'm sorry. I am avoiding the heavy stuff, and please don't blame me. Russ Belt wants to know, didn't Jack Smith say he found Trump financially sponsored some of the January 6ers? Financially sponsored them for what? After the fact? Well, God knows he pardoned them. And now they're suing a lot of them. Oh my God, you can't make it up. Lynn says she's so stressed out. I am too. He sponsored them for hotel rooms and transportation. That I don't know. And maybe that is part of what we might find out today. And Richard wants to know if we could reserve rooms, since we're talking about hotel rooms, if we can reserve rooms in advance for the next Nuremberg trial, for Nuremberg, the sequel. Oh God, let me live long enough to see these bastards brought to justice. By the way, the movie Nuremberg with Russell Crowe as Goebbels is really good. I did watch that one. I don't know if it's gotten any Academy Award nominations or anything. I suspect not. I haven't seen it in the no. But I thought it was really excellent. I want to say that the two, I guess one, Sinners, which is nominated for, that got more apparently Academy Award nominations today than any film in history. I saw it. It's not my kind of film because there's vampires in it, and I can't handle that kind of thing, but excellent film. One Battle After Another. That, I mean, it's a good yarn and extraordinary acting by a lot of people. I especially call out Sean Penn, but really imperfect. They got a little lost. I don't know. I don't get. And Marty Supreme, which everybody raves about, I frankly hated it. Sorry, I know that's not I hated it. My sense was, in a time when we are beset, by the way, Jack Smith has not opened his mouth yet, so that's good. I hope Jordan goes on babbling ad nauseum so that I don't miss any of it. I'm just saying. Marty Supreme, Timothy Chalamet. In a time when we are, I'm remembering what I said, beset and besieged by so many horrific human beings in our lives, why would it be considered entertainment you'd want to go to see an awful human being? And that's the lead, Marty Supreme, that the character is a horrible human being. Horrible. He has every Trump quality, every one. Everyone. And people are rooting for him. They feel for him. He's a narcissist. People die because of him. He's a liar. He's a thief. And everybody's raving about this movie. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? We got enough of this. I don't want to have to think or have as the protagonist of my entertainment a Trump-like character. So, I'm just saying. And also, the way it depicts Jews set my hair on end. So anyway, so Smith, I guess, is to oh, I'll stop doing a play-by-play when I'm just looking at I'm sure a lot of you are just watching it, and I'll catch up later. I'll just pretend I'll try to not look. But I think he's using and if he is, way to go. I think he might be using video. Someone's using video from the January 6th, committee, it looks like. Okay, I'll stop. Um, I'll tell you of all the movies that were, nominated: Begonia, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, and Train Dreams. The ones I've seen and I would recommend are Train Dreams, which is amazing, beautiful, wonderful, a real movie. No, car chases, no sex scenes. Sorry, you know. Train Dreams. It's a good one. I recommend Sinners, even though not my kind of movie. One Battle After Another. Yeah. Marty Supreme. F1, I happened to see. It's about race, and I enjoyed it immensely. I thought it was a really good movie. It's not an Academy Award winner. And Hamnet was excellent. And anyone who can get out of the theater without crying is obviously dead. So I understand The Secret Agent, which is is it a Argentinian film? It's from somewhere in our hemisphere. Is supposed to really be good, and I do look forward to seeing that. And Frankenstein, I haven't watched because the very movie, the story of Frankenstein is one that just rips my heart out. I can't bear it because of that poor soul, Frankenstein. I'm not the monster, the monster. I can't. And I don't want to even revisit it. Don't want to. Sorry. I mean, when you're an empath, this stuff is really hard. So those are my anyway. Jessie Buckley, lead actor, lead actress is I think a shoe-in. She plays Hamnet's mom, Shakespeare's wife, and she's amazing. If Timothy Chalamet wins, I'm going to puke. He's a very good actor, but I'm still going to puke. Yeah. Oh, there's a documentary that was that is coming out any second, and I'm dying to see it. I've read a lot about it, and it's called Mr. Nobody Against Putin, and there's just the story behind it is amazing. But it somehow it just mind blowing that a teacher, an elementary, I think elementary school teacher, sort of middle school, elementary school teacher in Russia ended up filming and then getting another actual documentarian in to film what was being taught in their schools by fiat of the federal government there. And what was being taught was they were preparing the boys, especially, to be cannon fodder. And how this amazing teacher, I mean, what courage to do what he did. He obviously is no longer there. He managed to slip out of the country before, but I would think he would still, given Putin, he would still be in grave danger. And he left the people he loved, the city he loved. I can't wait to see it. And I think it's going to be streaming very soon. Mr. Nobody in Russia. Has Smith said a word yet? I'm sorry. All I'm seeing is Jamie Raskin, so never mind. Okay. So, I don't know. You know, guys, I'm sure I'm like you. I'm so exhausted and in sort. I think we're in a state of shock. And those of us who have reached this state of shock, who have acknowledged that something horrific and beyond our imaginations has, I'm using the right tense here, has occurred. It's not, oh, Trump's awful, but we'll get rid of him and then we'll, no. America, as we have always known it, as the world has known it, is gone. It's gone. And so we're in a loss like that is so unbelievable. I mean, how many of you have said what I have said? I'm so glad my father's dead. I'm so glad that he didn't have to see this. It would have killed him. It would have killed him. Oh, I see. Jamie Raskin is talking because he's the Democrat on the committee. I get it. I'm sorry. Never mind. But here's the thing. Jack Smith still hasn't said a word. He's, as far as I can tell, he's drunk 2 bottles of water. He's now being sworn in. Okay. So let me go back to the guy I wish were our president, and that would be Canada's prime minister. No one misses the gorgeous Mr. Trudeau. At least I don't. He's too busy screwing, what's her name? Katy Perry. But I think the last part of this extraordinary speech that he gave is this. Because he's speaking truth. We know the old order is not coming back. See, this is where people have to get the tense right. It's gone. We Americans of this generation of now lost our fucking country to a clown. What an ignominious end. Okay, back to Carney. We know the old order is not coming back. We shouldn't mourn it. Nostalgia is not a strategy, but we believe that from the fracture we can build something bigger, better, stronger, more just. Now, he's talking about the world order, recreating something now that America has upended it. This is the task, he says, of the middle powers, nations like Canada and Europe, nations. The countries that have the most to lose from a world of fortresses, big tough bully boys, China, Russia, the US. We, he's telling them, have the most to lose in a world of fortresses and the most to gain from genuine cooperation. The powerful, the powerful have their power. But we have something too. The capacity to stop pretending, to name realities, to build our strength at home, and to act together. It was a brilliant speech. God. You know, the New York Times put out their latest poll on how Americans see Trump. And, you know, guys, it doesn't give me any comfort at all. None. Because it says that 40% of Americans approve of his job as president. Now, if it said 20%, I'd still be like, oh my God, who are those people? But it's 40%. That's a hunk of Americans. That's millions upon millions upon millions. That's over 100 million. How many people we got here now? It's well over 100 million who approve. Even more, 42% say he's managing the federal government well. 42% of Americans. And you wonder why we're where we are? So I don't know how we move forward, because those 40, 42, whatever. I mean, I know the ones who don't approve are in the majority, but that's too thin for me. That sounds, I mean, if you were to start, you know, it's like half and half. We got a slightly bigger piece. Unbelievable. If you think we're going to get out of this without a lot of people dying, without a civil war, I'd sure like to know what your imagination is conjuring. You know, David Brooks, who often drives me crazy, but who is a thoughtful person, had a column a while back. Richard, I refuse to be depressed. Good for you. I mean, depression is since I was a child, depression is my normal state. I could no more refuse to be depressed than I could refuse to be who I am. But it's nice if you've got that ability. Wow. You know, I have pictures in my house of me and my siblings that my parents took when we were children and when we were cute little kids. And Susan is this like big apple cheeked, happy. And Bill is, and I'm in the middle because I was, and I look like this. Cute, but sad. From the beginning. Not that I'm incapable of joy and happiness, but yeah. Okay, here's the good news. Mr. Nobody against Putin is streaming, Milton says. It's on demand now. Well, it's just wonderful. That is a good thing to watch, I'm sure. And yes, Ed is saying something that I've heard, that these two foreign films are just really powerful. From Iran, it was just an accident, and The Secret Agent from Brazil. And they're both about what we're going to know all too well soon enough, about living in a dictatorship. So, David Brooks. He is much more educated than I. I never took a philosophy class in my life. I don't know much about anything. But it tells us a little bit about the theologian Reinhold Niebuhr, who in 1944 a book called The Children of Light and the Children of Darkness. And it is like I didn't read the book. If I understand what he's telling me, it's like a parable of what we humans are. The children of darkness, Brooks tells us in Niebuhr's telling, are the cynics, the MAGA types, the Trump types who believe that life is all about power. That's it, about power. And the children of light are the other people driven by ideals to try to make the world a little bit better. And Niebuhr, looking at these two, says that the children of darkness are, brutal, but he also thinks that they are the more realistic about human nature. And that the children of light are admirable, but they're naive about humans' true nature, humans' self-interest and selfishness. And I keep saying that Trump has made us all see things that we didn't want to see. And in that, I guess, I should say thank you. I didn't realize there were so many awful people in the world. I didn't know. I have been so lucky in my life to be so often surrounded by mostly just good people, flawed, but good people. And who knew there were so many just terrible human beings? Openly terrible, flauntingly terrible. So the children of light and the children of darkness, that's what yeah. If we're in a civil war, this is the war we're in. So the children of darkness, Niebuhr says, are wise, but evil. The children of light are virtuous, but often foolish because they don't know. They don't acknowledge reality and power. You know what? That brings me to that horrific quote that we saw a few days ago from Stephen Miller. Well, it was about, Greenland. It was on Jake Tapper. Remember that? Because I kept it because I was so blown away by the naked, by the just out front, I'm a child of darkness. I am evil. And who gives a shit? Right. Stephen Miller said to Tapper, nobody's going to fight the U.S. militarily over the future of Greenland. And again, he's right. And then he goes on to say, we live in a world, in the real world, Jake, that is governed by strength, that is governed by force, that is governed by power. These are the iron laws of the world since the beginning of time. And we are now in the clutches of the powers of darkness. So Brooks goes on to say this: the children of darkness have advantages in their struggle with the children of light. They know what they want, and they don't have to worry about nuance. It's easier to destroy a social order than to build one. I mean, all of this is just so, and this is Niebuhr writing in 1944, because what hasn't changed at all? Human nature. I mentioned Thucydides yesterday. He was born before Jesus was even, hundreds of years before. And he wrote about humans, and they sound exactly like us. There's nothing, as I've often said, all we are is cavemen with cell phones. So anyway, back to Brooks, because I found this depressingly important to acknowledge. Niebuhr, in his book, is rooting for the children of light, but he wants them to be less naive about human nature. And then he quotes him: the preservation of a democratic civilization requires the wisdom of the serpent and the harmlessness of the dove. The children of light must be armed with the wisdom of the children of darkness, but remain free from their malice. Oh, we need to be better, but we need to be less skittish about exercising power. And what Brooks, who is, if anything, moderate in his politics, ends up saying is this should cause moderates to rethink, should cause moderates to be immoderate. It's no time for moderation. It should generate what Niebuhr called a sublime madness in the soul. And nothing but such madness will do battle with malignant power and spiritual wickedness in high places. So here's to a sublime madness in our souls. And if you can't conjure it, then how about putting a picture up on your refrigerator or your mirror that shows a little boy named Liam Ramos? Have you seen this child? There's a picture of him being taken by ICE in Minnesota. He is 5 years old. He is wearing this little, like a bunny ear hat with little things coming down. He's got a Spider-Man backpack on. And he is being abducted by the federal government of the United States of America. And as far as anyone knows, he has been by himself shipped off to a detention center somewhere in Texas. He doesn't have, can you imagine? And if that doesn't conjure a sublime madness in your soul, you're dead. Okay, so another thing that I happened to see that I found so fitting, because well, I really am like so trepidatious about July 4th this year. I really am. I will not be able to bear it if it is not a national day of, I don't know. But it shouldn't be celebration. You can't celebrate something that you've lost. Something that you let slip through your fingers while you were too busy, calling Amazon, getting and spending, being a good old American consumer, living the good life, thinking nothing could ever change. Jesus H, are we about to get hit upside the head with a 2x4? Okay. So, you know what happens? I interrupt myself. And then I can't make my way back. I need breadcrumbs. I can't make my way back to where, oh yeah, I got it. So July 4th. I mean, stop and think of it. We're going to be celebrating the 300th birthday of this experiment. I happened to see a news account written 300 years ago. And it was written. Why is there movement? Is someone leaving? Excuse me. Former special counsel is resumed. What? Somebody had to go to the bathroom? All right. Why the hell did they stop? All right. Okay, never mind. So it's a news account from this country 300 years ago from a city that was in almost the exact same situation as Minneapolis is now. Boston. And where am I going to find this? I got to tell you, it shows that the fact that you could substitute, the wording, they talked a little differently. It was like, it could be written right now and just, little changes. And it was written about Boston under siege. I'm going to find it. I swear to God. I'm going to find it. I have a kind of system here that that kind of sort of works sometimes. No, that's not it. Oh, son of a bitch, come on. Oh, no, I'm not finding it. I will. I swear to God, I will, because I need to share this with you. I'm going through take pictures of things. I'm going through my pictures. You know what I'm seeing? I actually take pictures of my dog's vomit. I'm going down. Oh, there's Blue's horrific vomit on the bed. There's Blue's horrific vomit on the bed. That's not what I'm looking for. Here it is. I found it. It was right before the vomit. Okay. So this is from a guy, I don't know. He's writing in Boston, and he says this. Writing in Boston 300 years ago. So this is an American under the thumb of King George. This is an American with no real freedom. And he writes, the reporter, having to stomach a standing army in their midst, to observe the redcoats daily, to pass by troops stationed on Boston Neck who occupy a guardhouse on land illegally taken from the town, and having to receive challenges by soldiers on the streets, their own streets, has affronted a people accustomed to personal liberty. It has fired their tempers and gnawed away at their honor. Now, I think that is not, I think that's over 300 years ago. It's probably before 76, but it's right about there leading up. And those Bostonians and other Americans who had been living their lives and feeling pretty good about stuff were getting accosted on their own streets. We're seeing, the king's army come in and grab things that they considered theirs, that they had built. And they're gnawed away at their honor. Yeah. And someone else writing about a prominent merchant in Boston, Harrison Gray, says this: Harrison Gray, a prominent merchant and a member of the town council, told soldiers who challenged him one evening that he was not obligated to respond. They retaliated by thrusting their bayonets toward his chest and detained him for half an hour. Interesting. They acted, those British soldiers under King George acted with more restraint with that guy who said, I don't have to listen to you, than the ICE agent who blew off Renee Good's head for the same offense. Guys. All right. So, I hope a whole bunch of people boycott the World Cup that's going to be happening here this year. Why would, most of those fans are from not the US. I hope they don't come. I hope whole teams don't come. You know how we would shut out the Olympics, Russia out of the Olympics? I hope they do that to us. All right. One more thing. No. I found this. This is, one of those stories. Why did I just lose it? I had it in my hand. Excuse me. Oh, there it is. No, it isn't. This is par for the course, right? Where is that? Okay. I don't hear it. This was just a little item in the paper the other day, and it barely, makes a ripple now, given all that we're dealing with. So much is going right past us that would normally be, huge news for weeks on end, would result in calls for impeachment and investigations. And we are so beyond that. I'm sorry, am I hitting you? Okay, so it said that under Trump, our Environmental Protection Agency, which I've always said that anytime any Republican administration got in, the EPA was immediately charged with not doing what it was supposed to do. And I would call it the Environmental Pollution Agency. Once any Republican administration got in, they didn't believe in the EPA. But Trump, he's they have flat out stopped the mission. The mission statement of the Environmental Protection Agency is to protect the health of the environment and of the people of the country by protecting the quality of our air and water and such, right? So the way you do that is you make sure you monitor and you have numbers to see, are we polluting? Are we this? Are we that? Are we better? Are we not? And the EPA under Trump has now decided that they will no longer keep track of two of the most widespread deadly air pollutants. That'd be fine particulates and ozone. And if you live around here in Pittsburgh, those fine particulates are still causing early death. I never had asthma till I moved here and lived here for long enough and developed asthma as an older woman. And two of the most widespread deadly air pollutants leading to cancers and a lot of trouble for kids, they won't even monitor them anymore. Long-term exposure to both is linked to heart disease, lung disease, and premature death. Even moderate exposure to these particulates can cause damage to the lungs like a smoker. Oh, yeah. You're right, 300. My math is bad. I'm sorry. So it's going to be our 250th, 1776. You're right. It's not 2076, Cullen. Jesus H, what a nincompoop. All right. But the point remains, 250, we'll never make 300. We didn't make 250. I thank you, Doug, for that correction. And for all of you who've been wincing as I've continued to say it. Richard wants to know, if ICE gave you 30 minutes to prove you were a U.S. citizen, could you? If so, how? Well, I don't carry a passport. I don't carry like a voting card, which I think would show I'm a citizen. I don't know. Son of a bitch. Who would think we're living in a country now with brown shirts in the streets, terrorizing citizens, demanding to see our papers? I mean, it's Nazi fucking Germany. And that 42% in the latest poll of our countrymen and women approve of the job that Donald Trump is doing? What German director was it? Werner Herzog? Somebody said, well, now you Americans are seeing what we Germans learned long ago. That 1/3 of your countrymen will kill another 1/3 of your countrymen while the other 1/3 look on. It ain't quite that bad, but I get his point, right? Wow. Yeah, I need to get one of those passport cards. I don't have that, and I understand you can, that's what yeah, get a card that has your passport information. A lot of Americans don't have passports because they have never gone overseas. Does your real I have a real ID. Does that say I'm an American? I guess it does. But you had to pay for it. More to saying they made us pay for real IDs. You know, okay, guys, we're out of time. I want to thank you so much. I wish you'd give me feedback about whether I should keep the video up. You know what? I was thinking, what difference does it make? Because if you don't want to, I mean, most of you are used to not looking at the screen, but if it's bothering you, is there a way to shut it up? So I don't know. I don't know what you want from me, and I'm not sure how to do it. Um, because I'm not taking calls now, just thought it would add an extra element, and I'm willing to do it, even though I'm starting to get used to it, but I don't know. Let me know. This is a work in progress. And thank you. I know most of you do seem to like the video. I see that. Yeah. And don't think it would hurt my feelings if you said no, that you don't. No problem. Okey doke. That's it. Damn it. I hope you don't get snowed in too badly. You know, they make it sound all the time like all hell, and then you get all scared. They scare people. It's called winter. It's called winter. It can be daunting. Okay. I don't want to leave you because I mean, the testimony's not on now. I was going to get off and watch, and I don't know why it's not. It says it will resume soon. Oh, yeah? Okay. Well, there you go. I can't see worth a damn. I am so effing blind, you cannot imagine. Okay. So that's it. I really don't want to leave you, but I'm going to. Okay. Thank you. Just God bless you. Thank you for hanging with me. I love you. I do. I do. Mhm. Have a good one.